Every Pokemon game is important, as it will forever be the Poke image of whatever period it comes out in. Still, there are moments in time when it is important to deliver a product that, despite the usual divide in the Pokemon community, receives mostly praise. In my opinion, after Pokemon Gold and Silver needed to solidify Pokemon as a monster franchise for the long run, Pokemon Legends ZA is the next one in the list that has a lot of weight on its back. So hey, I'm not so Ace Trainer, and why is Pokemon Legends ZA so important? Let's get into it. In order to understand the reason why all eyes are on Pokemon Legends ZA, we have to go back to the game right before the Nintendo Switch launched. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, although in my opinion they are the superior Alola games, weren't received in the best way possible. It felt like they shouldn't have been released in the first place, or at least they should have been released as one single game, a third version as we had seen so many times. After this, we had a lot of controversy plaguing the Nintendo Switch journey of the Pokemon main series. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, although very fun and beautiful, were still Kanto games once more, and while this was very appealing to older fans returning to the franchise because of Pokemon Go, it didn't sit well with everyone. Things went from bad to worse in the community when the famous Dexit happened with Pokemon Sword and Shield. We had everything ranging from just angry tweets to actual death threats. Needless to say, we weren't off to a stable start in this console. DLC was overall well received, but right after we got Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, games that are still talked about as some of the most hated in the history of the main series. There were some expectations for the Sinnoh remakes, and BDSP just did not meet them, and this only made the rift between Pokemon and its fans grow a little bit larger. But still, it didn't take long for it to shrink once again because Pokémon Legends Arceus, despite its flaws, was mostly well received. This game was what people had been asking from the franchise for what felt like an eternity, a game that felt new, a risk that Game Freak was willing to take. Sure, the story was a bit lacking and the game didn't run perfectly, but it felt like a very good enough. Surely the next game would come out without any issues, right? Well, wrong. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet brought us one of the best stories, if not the best story in the franchise, as well as some of the best characters. You can check out my full review right here to hear my thoughts on the matter, but spoiler alert, it kinda showed that it shouldn't have come out when it did. While the story and characters are fantastic, all of that takes a while to develop, as a story does, while the issues are there from the start. You're not introduced to a cool story in the beginning, but you are met with slowdowns the moment you stand up in your room. So, this once again created a rift. Just not like the one from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, people could see the good in this new open world game, though they became hesitant in believing something more than that could be in the near future. And that's when they announced Pokemon Legends ZA. While everyone was expecting a remake, in fact, I was expecting a BDSP for Johto or Unova, an ILCA developed game, we got a new Legends game. And this took us right back to that feeling we got when we were introduced to Pokemon Legends Arceus the first time. This game comes not only at a time when Pokemon fans are still in a bit of a divided state, but also in a time where we're likely jumping from one console to the other. In fact, this video was exactly about how Pokemon Legends ZA was going to be released in both consoles and how the word simultaneously in the title means exactly that. I wrote it, recorded it, started editing, and then realized that my arguments weren't great, so I scrapped it. But this point still stands. We're likely at the end of the current Nintendo Switch. This game might be its Pokemon curtain call, while also being the Pokemon dawn for the new one. It could not only repair or destroy the relationship between fans and the franchise, but it could also impact the performance of Nintendo's new shiny toy. I can honestly say that I believe the Legends formula is the perfect one to bring out the best out of Game Freak and Pokemon, as they showed us in the past. They really should release this game for both platforms as well, because there isn't much room to grow left on the Switch. There's a reason we're seeing new ports and new remakes and nothing else. They could use this to win back the fans' hearts. Both Nintendo Switch and new Nintendo Switch users could play the game. There would likely be a better version, of course, kinda like Breath of the Wild in the Wii U and the current Switch. But it would be a great way to not force people to jump to the next console right away, while inviting them to it at the same time. A way to take us on a compelling adventure using a formula that was dearly loved by most, while not denying the experience from everyone. And if they play their cards right, I feel we could see one of, if not the best, Pokemon game ever. And that is all I have for you today, the reason why Pokémon Legends ZA will be so important. But what about you? Do you believe this game will meet our expectations? Let me know in the comments down below. And now like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. Also, you can become a channel member or check out my merch in order to further support the channel. I'd be forever thankful for that. You can follow me on social media or check out one of my streams here and on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.